The myths of Herodotus, the ancient Greek, that turned out to be true fact. The list of Herodotus' monstrosities, which made the younger historians sneer, is long. Better known and more important for our history, the enumeration of the Persians of Xerxes were 1.5 million, the opponents of Leonidas of the 300 Spartans, or 100,000. It's probably unlikely that an authoritative answer to the question will ever be found, but for many other statements under the same heading, startling confirmations have begun to emerge. The mummies. The first concerned the subject of mummification. The medical students of the first European universities considered the anecdote that in Egypt there were 3 methods of mummification, depending on the valence of the relatives of the deceased. But as the subsequent imports of mummies by the French, German, and English Egyptologists prove, Herodotus was right. The ants of gold. His account of how Darius mined the gold in his treasury was also considered a joke. In the mountains of present-day Pakistan, he said, giant ants with fur, a little smaller than a dog, mine the gold. Is it possible to believe such a thing? And yet, as the French ethnologist Michael Roussel discovered in 1996, the Minaro tribe of the Dansard Plateau continues to extract gold in the same way today. American soldiers discovered the same when they saw Pakistani soldiers returning from patrols with handfuls full of gold dust. What was the secret? Marmots. These oversized squirrels had their nests in gold fields and often thickly cleaned them. That would have vindicated Herodotus centuries ago, would have been a better knowledge of the Persian language by historians. They called marmots mountain ants. The Amazons. An ancient historical anecdote was also the description of the Amazons. But if they never existed, why were the Greeks so obsessed with the Amazon battle? Finally, in October 1994, the magazine National Geographic was published with the main topic of a mummy, which was found by the head of a research in the Institute of Archaeology and Ethnography of Novosibirsk, Natalia Polosmak. The mummy was found in Kazakhstan, in the places where the Indo-Europeans are supposed to have originated, and where in the days of Herodotus, the Mesayeti galloped. It belonged to a woman who had war tattoos on her body. Herodotus wrote how the Amazons marked their bodies for every enemy they liked. It was burned with her armory. It was buried with her armory. Since then, 7 more mounds of armed women have been found near the Russian city of Pokrovka, dated to the period 600 to 200 BC, but also in Britain, in the tombs of Sarmatians, Savromata, according to Herodotus, who served as mercenaries in the Roman army. The Etruscans. The next myth of Herodotus was his account of the Etruscans. He said that they colonized Italy, coming from Lydia, of a well-known King Croesus. That's Asia Minor, of the west coast of Turkey today. King Croesus, after an 18-year famine, and led by Tyrannus, they set sail from present-day Smyrna. That's just basically across from the island of Rhodes. They set sail from present-day Smyrna for the Umbria region of Italy. No one took this narrative seriously until in 1885, a 6th century BC Etruscan stele found in Lemnos. Finally, June 18, 2007, and after a marathon of DNA analysis of the population of the former Etruscan city of Murlo in Italy, Professor Alberto Pizia of the University of Turin informed the audience of the annual conference of the European Society of Human Genetics that Herodotus was right. And then Philippides, the guy who ran the marathon after the Battle of Marathon. He also ran a couple of days before from Athens to Sparta, now to ask for their help, but they denied help because it was their Rosh Hashanah. Now Philippides, speaking of marathon, we do not avoid recalling another anecdote of the Persian Wars Historians laughed at the Superman of covering the Athens-Sparta distance of 250 kilometers by Philippides in just 36 hours. The laughter stopped on October 9, 1982, when a group of British RAF officers repeated the feat. Since 1983, the International Spartathlon has been taking place with multinational participation, proving to armchair researchers that Greek myths deserve a closer reading, especially when they come from the graphic Herodotus. They said the same about Homer, the same about Plato, and the same about Herodotus. The challenge in all its glory. Someday I hope they reconsider to see the truth. The myths of the ancients are nothing more than history that became legend and legend that became myth. And this I've translated for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.